Hello everybody, welcome to Coco's Crochet. I'm Litza and this is our podcast number 162. It's Thursday the 20th of November 2025. And once again, here we are in our very cozy little crochet club. That's how I view Thursdays now, so I wonder if that's the same feeling that you get. Now this week, of course, I'll have your makes to showcase, which I always get very excited about. And I have a few very cute things of my own to share with you. A couple that may be candidates for the Collect Fest Con that I'll be participating in next March in 2026. And of course, we'll be able to tick the next item, so the second item from our list for that con. So as always, without any further ado, let's get started on your wonderful makes. And we have quite a few to showcase tonight, so get ready to ooh and ah over them. Now, first we have our friend Sharon K. Now, Sharon crocheted matching hexicardis, one for her granddaughter and one for her granddaughter's 18-inch doll. I just think that is so super adorable and they are so pretty. I can just imagine Sharon's granddaughter wearing her hexicardi while her doll is wearing it as well. So I absolutely love that. Thank you so much, Sharon, for sharing them with us. Now next we have our friend Marie E, and most of us know that Marie has been crocheting blankets throughout the whole year for Camp Boggy Creek. Now this is Marie's celebration of fall throw. Marie used loops and threads soft classic yarn from Michaels and a 5.5mm hook. The YouTube tutorial that Marie used is from Hooked by Robin for the stitch. Absolutely gorgeous, and the colors are beautiful. Thank you so much, Marie, for sharing your throw with us. Now next we have our friend Diane S, and as we know, Diane has been joining us for Beanie of the Week each and every week. So here is Diane's Beanie of the Week for last week. So Diane used Wool Ease Thick and Quick yarn with an 8mm hook. Now Diane followed the pattern and was able to make an adult size beanie for donation. Diane added, she tells us, 3 border rows with a 7mm hook to pull it in a little bit. And once again, I just love that we can see how versatile a pattern is, especially this one. All that Diane had to do was change up her yarn and her hook, and she went from a baby beanie to an adult size beanie. It's absolutely gorgeous. Thank you, Diane. But Diane didn't stop there. She kept herself busy and she shares with us 2 FOs. Now, Cream Puff's nightgown, hat and slippers are from Adoring Doll Clothes. That's Pamela. I know that she has the channel here on YouTube, but I do believe that all of Diane's patterns are bought on a USB, which I think is something that I'd really like to invest in as well. Now, Diane used Hirschner's Holiday Sparkle yarn in the colorway Berry and a 5mm hook. It's just such a very cute ensemble. Thank you for sharing that with us, Diane. And this beautiful shawl is for a very special person in Diane's niece's life. Diane used Red Heart Super Saver yarn in blue, and each section, Diane tells us, is a different stitch. So a little bit difficult to see in the photo, but I imagine how beautiful it is in real life. So thank you so much, Diane, for sharing all your makes with us. And next we have our friend Geraldine from G Crochet Off the Hook here on YouTube. Please go and say hello to her. Now, Geraldine was over the moon excited crocheting the baby beanie. So she crocheted 2 plus matching booties or socks. Geraldine used L Lullaby DK baby yarn in the color Monarch and Kismet Soft and Gentle Baby Shimmer in the color Grey. Both yarns are acrylic, and Geraldine used 4 and 4.5mm crochet hooks. What beautiful little sets for a couple of little beautiful babies. Thank you so much, Geraldine, for sharing them with us. And then we have our friend Lynn from Lynn Penguin's Creations. If you're not already hanging out with her, go and say hello to her as well. Now here is Lynn's baby beanie. It's such a beautiful color. And thank you, Lynn, for sharing your gorgeous beanie with us. Your little wooden tag, your name tag, is nearly as big as the beanie. I thought that was adorable. Thank you so much, Lynn, for sharing with us. And next we have our friend Kim, and she also shares 2 gorgeous blankets using the bobble stitch to create the design. The dinosaur blanket and the unicorn blanket are made with King Cole DK weight yarn in pink glitter and mint green. Absolutely gorgeous. Now, I've never made anything actually with that bobble stitch to create the pattern, and I know that it's such a beautiful way of making a design. One day I'll have to try that. So Kim, thank you so much for sharing your gorgeous blankets with us. Now next we have our friend Josephine, and she too shares 2 FOs with us. Seems to be the trend this week. Now, this very pretty Serenity shawl is a YouTube tutorial at Pamela's Adoring Crochet. Josephine used Lion Brand Ferris wheel yarn in evergreen and a 4mm Clover Amore hook. It's just so pretty. And this pair of socks is Olga Poltava's How to Crochet Best Fit Socks tutorial here on YouTube. Josephine used Lion Brand Sock Ease 1 weight yarn and a 3.25mm hook. The socks are so very, very pretty, and Josephine does tell us that with the yet leftover yarn, she's going to make at least another pair of socks. That's wonderful. Thank you so much, Josephine, for sharing with us. And next we have our friend Laura. Laura shares some Christmas presents that are already wrapped and ready to gift. Some very pretty colourful beanies, and I'm sure they'll keep a few heads quite warm throughout the cooler months. This super cute white teddy, and I'm sure he'll make someone very happy. And this gorgeous round granny stitch throw, very, very pretty. Absolutely gorgeous, all of those makes. Thank you so much, Laura, for sharing them with us. And that's it, guys. All of your makes for the week. How wonderful they all were. And I wonder how many you've all added to your crochet to-do list. I'd really like to try that bobble stitch design one day. I imagine it is an awful lot of counting and making sure you place them all in the right place. But the end result is definitely worth it, right? So let's get on to beanie of the week. And I absolutely love this beanie. It is very, very new. I was going to say very new on the market. I think the tutorial only came out 3 or 4 days ago. So the beanie that I'm referring to is the Unhinged beanie by our friend Spring, the fiber enthusiast. And I fell in love with the colors, and I just happen to have the exact same colors that Spring used, even though it's a different brand. And if you want to try your hand at color work and you've never done it before, this is perfect, because there's only a few rows of it, 3, 4, 5 in total, and it's just so rewarding and satisfying, because when there's only 2 colors, you don't get very tangled. And I absolutely love that, because sometimes if you're changing a lot of colors, the tangling of the yarn can really get to you. But this was beautiful. The tutorial, as always, is amazing. And down here there is a single crochet like twisted stitch. It's not twisted, it's almost like the crab stitch, but you don't make it that way. There's such a unique way to make it, and I absolutely enjoyed it so much. I really didn't want this beanie to end or to finish. Probably going to make some more in the future, but it does go very, very quickly. So quite simply, it's the increase that we're all so familiar with, and then the color work. Now I did use a 6mm hook, although Spring uses a 5.5 because after doing so many of her tutorials, I've realized that our gauge is a little bit different. I did use my Spot Saver 100% acrylic 10 ply or 4 weight yarn in chocolate and in pumpkin. Absolutely gorgeous. Absolutely love this beanie. I hope you enjoy it as much as I did, whoever joins in with us. Excuse me. And I highly recommend you pop it on your beanie repertoire list, whatever you call that. So thank you so much, Spring, for once again another amazing tutorial. Really do appreciate it. Now next I made, let me pop these glasses off just for a moment. So Nooks Hooks has put out those gorgeous, that everyone is making. Even I made them last week and probably will make more in the future, the hooded, the little hoodie bears. And this is the pattern that I used to make my bears, and then I bought the mod, and there's also a little bunny here. So I made the bunny this week. I had started him off last week. If you remember, I had 1 floppy ear done and I was on the 2nd ear. But I did use the mod that is available for free to us on Instagram at Nooks Hooks for the little sitting legs. Very excited to bring him to you, and I will tell you the yarn that I used. Now, there they are, those floppy little legs. How adorable is this guy? Look at these ears. I am in love with the ears, and I'm absolutely in love with the way that those legs sit. Now, I did do the face shaping. You can see that. I haven't put the little nose on yet, and I'm wondering if I should put a little tail. But this is exactly as the pattern was, and the pattern was purchased from Etsy. Now, the yarn that I used made him a little bit smaller than the bears. Look at that little bottom there. Oh my gosh, I absolutely love him. Now, the yarn that I used, and let's put him over here, just sitting over there, so he could say hello. Looks very dark there. I used this velvet yarn from Spotlight, which I purchased last week, and the color is called Brilliant, I think, from memory. Dazzling, close enough. How gorgeous is that? Now, this yarn is so slippery that the hook just glides over it, and it's a very quick project. It doesn't shed. I used a 7mm hook with it, and I just really enjoyed making that pattern. But even though I used a 7mm hook, it turned out a little bit smaller than the bears. But he is absolutely gorgeous. I was going to say adorable, and he is adorable. And I love that he sits. So I'm going to use those floppy legs on the bears as well. Those sitting legs. Oh my gosh, they're just adorable. And it's very, very easy to do. The mod is so simple to follow, and I really did enjoy it. Oops. Let's put him back up there with his other friends. So I had fun making him, but I would like to make him with blanket yarn and see if he turns out a little bit bigger. Now, as you know, or if you don't know, in March of next year, I think it's the weekend of the 14th and 15th of March 2026, guys, I have put my name down, and I got accepted to the Collect Fest Con, which I'm hoping that is going to be huge. And I have made a list of things I'd like to make, and I really did overestimate my amount of time until it dawned on me last week while I was talking to you that I had to modify the amount of things I had to make. So originally I had said I was going to make 30 snakes. Very, very ambitious, because I'm only allowing a week per make, and then at the very end, just before the con, if I have any more time, I can top up some of the makes if I need to. So last week, you may remember, I had the 30 leggy froggies, but this week I have 10 snakes. 5 are sitting behind us here, and I'll just show you the colors that I made them in. It's sometimes a bit tricky to choose colors for snakes, but I tried to mix it up so that I could cater for everyone's taste. But I only ended up making 10, not 30. Now I have used, so they're all exactly the same. Let me just show you one and then I'll talk about it. The pattern is from our friend Jenny at In My Spare Time Crochet. I should say the tutorial, YouTube tutorial. Look at that face. And I think from memory I've been using 12mm safety eyes. Very simple, and they are 50 centimeters long before I taper off for the end. So they're about 55 centimeters long. Now for this one here and for this one here, these two colors, I did use the Lion brand Cover Story yarn, and they turn out beautifully. This is a gorgeous yarn. If you can get your hands on it, please do so. Here in Australia, I have seen a few scattered balls here and there at Spotlight, so it is still available. So two of each color, so there's 4 there. Then I made this one here, which I think turned out really good. I love this one, and that's in this velvet yarn that I just showed you. I think it's called Garden Party or something, the green. Now this one looks very much real life to me, and it feels so smooth, but it did turn out a tiny bit thinner. But that's okay, he's absolutely gorgeous too. And this one I absolutely love. I think that it's Burnout Mystical. I don't know which colorway, sorry. The reason why I think it's that is because it's just Millen, so I can't be sure. I love this one. Excuse me. And I absolutely love this one. Now, this one has a very weird texture, but I just think it's great for a snake. Now, this one was made using this microfiber yarn that is readily available in the dollar stores here in Australia. It's called Chunky Knit. I have used this once before in browns to make a beautiful blanket, a C2C, and I absolutely love that blanket. It is a very soft yarn. It crochets up very easily, but it does have a microfiber texture, I guess. But you don't get stuck to it or anything, because my hands are quite dry from using so much blanket yarn, and it doesn't bother them at all. So that's this one as well. So that's 10 snakes. I can tick off that list, and now we'll get on to the next make for next week. Now, some of you, and if you haven't already watched it, I highly recommend you watch my Alize Velluto unboxing and yarn review. So I managed to make 2 things from that yarn this week, and they are both candidates, as I said earlier, for the Collect Fest Con for next year. So the one that I made to showcase the yarn, and here's the Alize Velluto yarn. If you're not familiar with this yarn, guys, it is amazing, so soft and so beautiful. Now, I did make a little demi-gorgon, and I'll show you the pattern before I show you my little guy. So this is by Just a Mum Crocheting. The pattern is from Etsy, paid for, but you do get the size that I'm going to show you, a really little one, and also a lovey pattern, all 3 in one. And I'm so sorry, I can't remember the price, but it does vary from country to country, and I think there was a small sale at the time. But here he is here. He is so cute. Seriously, this is the bigger one out of the pack. And this yarn is just amazing. It doesn't have much per ball, much meterage or yardage, but it's absolutely worth the end result. So for him, I used the black, the red, and I'm not sure, this is something foam, I can't remember, I'm so sorry, but it is in the yarn review because this is the pattern that I made. And then while I was looking through some of my patterns that I had bought very, very recently, I found this gorgeous pattern for the K-pop Demon Hunters, the Derby Tiger. And this is a pattern by, where is it, Green Frog Crochet. Again, a paid for pattern on Etsy. Look at that face. And I made him here. Oh my gosh, I absolutely love him. I did make him with the darker colors, and I'll show you the colors that I use, because a lot of the images that you see, he is darker. Now, this is pretty much one piece. I did crochet the ears, and then I sewed them on. I'm not a huge fan of surface crochet because I never seem to get them on right. And the tail, I just could not work out the pattern how to crochet it in, because you make it first. So I just sewed it on. And look at that tongue. He is so cute. The safety eyes are the ones that you get the gold disc, the glitter discs for, and I used the gold orange color, and I think from memory they're 16 millimeters. Now, he's not very big, but he definitely is very, very cute. There is a little bit of embroidery that you do for the face, and you do use the 2 different blues, and I opted to use these 2 here. Again, Alize Velluto yarn, the baby pink here, and a little bit of black. So I got good use out of the black. I didn't make him his top hat because I haven't seen all the movie all the way through, but I did Google some images to see the colors, to make sure I chose the right colors from my Alize Velluto yarn stash. So these 2 I think would be great for the Collect Fest. How adorable. Look at the size difference though. But he is super cute. I think in actual fact, he took me longer to make, because just touching on the patterns very quickly, they're very well written, all the patterns that I'm referring to, but they're different, but they're written differently from each other. So I have to work out what's going on in the designer's head so I can execute the pattern. And sometimes, you know, it's a little bit tricky, but it did work out in the end. This one in actual fact starts from the top here. You would never guess it right. I certainly didn't. So that's my little Derby Tiger, or as she's calling it, the Lazy Tiger, because as you know, we don't want to be copyrighted. And I think that's it for all of my makes this week, guys. So although I've had a busy week crocheting, I think that I would have liked to have a few more makes done, but life sometimes gets in the way. But getting those snakes finished now, I'm very happy with that, because I can put them to the side, choose the next project and work on that for the next week. So hopefully I'll get at least 10 of whatever I'm going to choose to make as well, because 30 leggy froggies was more achievable because they weren't that big. And that's it, guys. I hope that, you know, you've all had a fun week crocheting and had some downtime to yourself, because that's what it is for me. As I said, my hands are getting a little bit dry from all the blanket yarn, but even though it's all soft, it does take its toll. So a little bit of moisturizer in my future is going to be very, very welcomed. So that's not really a horrible, you know, problem to have. So as I said, I hope you're all keeping well. And until I see you all very, very soon, take care, everyone. Bye-bye for now.